Hi, here's Florian, and I'm today here with a new guest, with Lubomila. So, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Lubomila, and I'm the founder of Plan A. Plan A is the first fundraising and action platform in the fight against climate change. We organize monthly campaigns for which we fundraise for environmental organizations that deal with issues related to climate change.
Awesome. So, can you tell us something about yourself, about your story, how you got to this point?
So Plan A is a Berlin company these days, but actually I moved 1 year ago from London after being for 12 years there. I'm originally from Bulgaria. And for the 12 years that I was in London, I worked across investment banking, fintech, and VC. And I kind of ended up in one of those situations where destiny pushes you to learn about a topic and get excited and, maybe feel the drama of what a particular issue is and claim it as your own mission. And this is how I became the founder of Plan A. Essentially, I had been introduced to the green topic from friends in the UK. But probably the most striking experience that pushed me to quit my job and start my own company was a trip to Morocco, where I went to pretend I can surf, but actually I was just taking baby steps to learn how to surf. And while waiting for my friends who were more experienced, when the waves were a bit too big for what I knew how to deal with, I was reading my book and I started looking around and I saw a lot of trash. And for 1 hour and a half, I collected 6 big bags filled with shoes, plastic bottles that were burned, construction materials, like just any kind of item you can think of that we can, see in the supermarket and would have to dispose somehow, but not always apparently. And after that, I basically just came back to London and decided to quit my job. I was like, I'm not gonna let this continue. Because in London also, what was expecting me was a lot of waste. London is a very dirty city, which I don't know if your audience has noticed when they've been there on trips, but please pay attention next time. And I started looking into the options of how I can build the company and what is the best environment to do this. And after talking to a lot of lawyers, actually, to figure out where's the best place to register my company, a lot of them told me that I should consider either France or Germany. And the fact that I spoke German was kind of what pushed me to consider a place in Germany. I already had some friends in Berlin, so I decided to move to Berlin, register the company, and for the first 6 months of my journey, I was by myself, so I didn't have any help. There was one Plan A volunteer who was based in France, who's now a full-time employee. He was the first Plan A employee. And since then, the company has grown to 10 people. We have funding that we got from an angel when I was still in London. This is where we are today.
So, how were you able to get funding in such early stage? Because you didn't even start it in London, I think, during this time. So, how was this process for that?
I did start it in London, but at that stage, the company was just, me working in a cafe and doing a lot of research and talking to NGOs and people that donate to try to understand what gets them excited about getting involved with an issue. But what got funding was the impact aspect of Plan A. So, as you know, funding rounds are not the most exciting part of a journey. They're quite challenging because you need to professionalize a lot of aspects of the way you do stuff in order to be able to explain your vision and mission going forward. So what kind of sold to the Plan A angel investor the idea behind what we do was the kind of mutual passion when it comes to fighting climate change. She's incredibly active in the space and has quite a lot of influence on the topic and has opened a lot of doors since. So yeah, I think the impact aspect has been the most important one.
Cool. So how did it felt to grow so fast? Like 10 employees in 6 months was quite a speed.
One thing that has driven me personally to be doing this is actually the capacity to dedicate my own knowledge and expertise into the fight for climate change and be as efficient as possible with it. Climate change is something we cannot underestimate. It's something that is very difficult and it requires all the expertise. Doesn't matter if it's tech, doesn't matter if it's, fundraising, marketing, like any typical aspect of a company building. And I just decided to apply my knowledge to the topic and find an angle which is innovative to it, or different, so to say. And this has excited a lot of people. We've organized last month, for example, in Berlin, a festival which involved art, a party even, panel discussions, and movie screenings. We partnered with companies like Patagonia, Quartiermeister for the Berlin listeners, probably kind of a known brand, and also quite a lot of other brands. And we gathered over 700 people and kind of... why I'm saying this is the company has grown so fast because the sense of urgency is big and people do want to dedicate their time and effort from all sides of the story. On one side, you have the people that work immediately for the company, but then on the other side, you have actually the donors and also just the audience, because not everyone has to donate, but this is the main channel for us to get money for the environment organizations that we work with. So the sense of urgency is what has gotten us so quickly where we are, I guess.
So raising money also like in the environmental sense is quite a challenge because there's like a lot of people trying to raise money for certain issues. So what was your tactic to make this happen for you?
Mm-hmm. They're absolutely correct, and it's not only it's even more challenging when you're at such a young stage, so founder, all that stuff. For me, the winner was the fact that the person that I was speaking to kind of got excited about me kind of leading this project, and also the idea itself was quite of it gave a different angle to the climate change fight. What is typical for the climate change fight these days is, as you probably know, the biggest contributors to climate change fighting are governments, and they are the ones that dedicate the most monetary contributions to the topic. Next comes corporates, then it comes households, and this the angle that we take is totally different. What we do is we engage businesses and individuals by giving them the exact amount of excitement about a topic, because we speak in a very positive manner about nature, we speak in a very engaging manner about the issues. We tell people stories and we gather all the experts. We have the academics on one side, we have the people that are on the field and know how to deal with planting trees or, saving communities or helping communities with their struggles with regards to climate change. And we want to be the meeting point between all aspects of climate change. Climate change is not an issue only for me and you. It's an issue for every single person, every single organization, every single government. So I think this was the main reason why we ended up with funding at an early stage. The storytelling aspect was definitely the winning point, and also the big vision that we kind of continuously building on a daily basis today as well.
So you motivate the parties to go with you because you're telling a story, a positive story, and you have a vision behind it.
Yes, and also something that is kind of the secret sauce since a few months is we're actually building an algorithm that can predict where the climate change fight has to be done in a certain manner. So what I mean by this is we have country heat maps that allow us to say Germany has to deal with its waste management, with its energy mix, and with another few things. But we kind of prioritize issues related to climate change using technology that is publicly available. So harnessing kind of what research has already been done. So this is, but I mentioned this only now because this is something that it's still at a baby stage for us, and at this stage it feeds our own choice of our campaign. So, for example, the next campaign that we're going to have is about German bees. Side fact is that 99% of beekeepers in Germany are doing this as a hobby. Yeah. Sadly, this is not something that is as profitable as a business as it used to be, and they're struggling a lot. So our algorithm gave us kind of the clue that this is something that is very important for Germany, and we want to reintroduce wild honeybees with the help of a partner organization called Stadtbienen, that is based in Berlin. Very nice guys. Johannes, the founder, incredibly passionate beekeeper himself from a beekeeping family. The campaign after is about plastic in the Indian Ocean. So yeah, kind of this is the secret sauce.
Awesome. So what was the trick in the beginning time to stay focused and to work yourself through the start issues?
This is a really good question, because for me the biggest problem probably in the first months when I was still in London even was the fact that I had to like tap myself on the shoulder for achieving something that I thought was some sort of an accomplishment within doing research or trying to understand an issue, but also like, challenge myself on certain ideas. And whenever you don't have the capacity to know if you are even reading the right research, if you're following the right university or line of thought with regards to a problem or technology building, it's quite challenging. What helped me to stay focused was that I had a very big discipline about on daily basis, even when I was working at home, I would make sure that I would have at least 1 or 2 meetings outside of the house with people that would be beneficial to my understanding of the problems. Because I come from a finance and business background, and I was trying to like dive deep into understanding why is a lemur important to Madagascar, and why is plastic such a huge issue in the oceans all across the planet. And you can't just do this with, using internet and TED Talks or something that, Wikipedia. So this was kind of what kept me intact. And I think it is what got me through this kind of difficult moment.
Yeah, awesome. It's like a good idea to always keep your contact to the outside world and don't be trapped in your mind and in your computer. So where do you see the future? Like, what are your biggest challenges today, and where you want to be in 5 years?
I see the future from 2 sides. One side is obviously climate change. So we have a few scenarios, and mainly they're not positive because we're kind of doomed in any case. But where the power within us lies is the possibility for us to be active already today on the topic with the smallest actions, which is what we as a company want to introduce as an idea to people. We do a lot of events, we do a lot of documentary screenings, we do a lot of we give a lot of opportunities to people to donate and also engage by volunteering or, finding a way to be of use with their own actions. So this is our opportunity today. But if we don't take it, we are likely to go into an even more doomed reality than the one we've been even told. Because the statistics are right, but they're also quite showing quite big ranges of possibilities of things to happen. And I can say with a lot of confidence that we're more on the negative side of reality if we don't do anything and we're not doing enough. This is for climate change. When it comes to Plan A, I want us to keep the speed. I can see the trajectories, like the positive one, the good one, and the companies, as a company, as a culture, as a team, is incredibly positive, incredibly enthusiastic, and super dedicated to the topic. Also, a lot of jokes, like a good sense of humor in the whole team. So we know how to keep the mood up. So I want us to continue with this. And from a tech side, I want this algorithm to start fueling the decisions of governments. This is kind of where the vision is and where we lie, because there is a lot of data that doesn't get to be used. And we want to give any stakeholder the opportunity to be informed, backed by data about what the problem is. And we want to be in the middle of this discussion so that we engage all of these people and all of these organizations we already partner with, and we will partner in the future.
Yeah, makes sense. What is your favorite book?
I'm reading at the moment something that is quite interesting, and I think it could be quite exciting for someone that is going maybe through a transition of understanding the kind of their part in the whole big picture, and how us as a humanity have gotten to this new kind of consciousness and new mindset about reality. It's a book called How Soon Is Now by Daniel Pinchbeck. He's quite of an interesting character. He speaks a lot about, how your individual journey can lead you through a path of understanding the world differently very quickly. He speaks about his own spiritual transformation, but also about what us as history have gone through in order to get to where we're not now, and what are the challenges that sit in front of us. And obviously he speaks a lot about climate change, and also this new level of consciousness that speaks less about money but more about impact, purpose, action. And I would definitely recommend this one. I would think that it has allowed me to question myself a lot on the way I am, even after I've started Plan A, quit my job or whatever, by its way of, engaging the whole humanity and the history that we have.
Awesome. So what is your tactic to keep sanity between work and free time?
I'm really passionate about what I do, so I think I kind of wouldn't speak about the balance, because I do spend a lot of time, even during the weekends, going on little tours around Berlin and finding different companies we can engage with and different partners that we can get involved in all the initiatives that we have. But what definitely keeps me kind of intact when it comes to, having a balanced mind and balanced body is yoga. I do a lot of yoga, and also going in nature. It might sound like a cliche, but I think spending time in nature, even if it's for one day, it just makes your mind work in a different way. And now that I've been getting so deep into climate change, we've been talking so much with the team about wildlife. We already did 2 campaigns on wildlife, one about lemurs, another one about tigers, elephants, and orangutans in Africa and Asia. I've been also noticing a lot of things that, happen to you when you go in nature. So Germany has incredible birds, for example. And ever since I've moved here, I've been going to different places in different forests, and been noticing these little creatures that are so beautiful. I think connecting to nature, doing yoga, and has helped me keep a balanced head. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Awesome. And my last question is, if you could go back in time and talk to your 20-year-old self, what you would tell her?
Be calm, in the sense that if there's anything that I was worried about when I was 20, was what's going to happen? How is it going to work out? Am I making the right choices? Is this path that I'm choosing in terms of education, which was international business in German, the right one? Would this lead to the right results? I think life is quite of a fantastic journey, and it always is better than you would have expected, with all the challenges and with all the obstacles that it offers. And one thing that I would tell myself is to be calm and, be just excited about what's going to happen, because we do have a lot of power in our hands when we're building this journey. But there's also always a little moment of serendipity, and it always works out the best for you. So yeah, keep a positive head and be calm.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you next time, guys.